I always knew my sister would try to ruin my dreams. I just didn't think she'd make it so obvious. Maybe this was a sign. Diane's smirk made me feel sick as I searched my room for the third time. My passport had to be here. I had put it in my travel folder just yesterday. I even checked it 3 times before going to bed. Now, with less than 3 days before my flight to Munich, it was gone. My name is Laura, and for 17 years, I've been the one my family is never proud of. Not because I did something wrong, but because I tried too hard, studied too much, and worst of all, I won't pretend that my younger sister is the perfect one everyone loves. Mom, I called, trying not to sound upset. Have you seen my passport? Honey, you probably lost it, Mom answered from downstairs, her voice full of that usual tone that made me feel small. You always get forgetful when you're stressed. I saw Diane's reflection in the mirror. She stood in my doorway, playing with her perfect blonde hair. You know, Laura, she said with a fake smile, maybe this is God's way of telling you not to go. You're not really made for international life. The scholarship letter sitting on my desk told a different story. I had won a full scholarship to a top global policy program. They picked me out of thousands of students. I hadn't told my family right away because I knew how they'd react. I got into the program fair and square. I said, my hands shaking as I checked my drawer again. Why can't you just be happy for me? Oh, I am happy for you, Diane said, walking into my room without asking. I just worry about you. Remember your science fair project that suddenly caught fire? Or your prom dress that got bleach on it the night before? You're just unlucky. My teeth clenched. Those things weren't accidents, and we both knew it. Just like my missing passport wasn't an accident either. Laura, Dad shouted from downstairs. Family meeting. Now. I followed Diane down to the spotless living room. Mom and Dad sat like judges, ready to tell me what I could or couldn't do. Mom's cross necklace caught the light as she patted the couch beside her. Sweetheart, she said, we need to talk about this scholarship thing. There's nothing to talk about, I said, still standing. I earned this. I'm going, even without a passport. Dad raised an eyebrow. Be realistic, honey. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. You're not ready for something like this. I am ready, I said. She's just jealous. Diane jumped in, pretending to cry. Ever since I was asked to be the youth Eric, she's been trying to beat me. Now she's making up stories about a missing passport just to get attention. I'm not making anything up, I replied. But as I said it, I saw Mom pull Diane into a hug. Then she gave me that familiar look, the one that said I was being difficult again and hurting poor Diane. Laura, Mom said softly, sometimes God closes doors for a reason. Remember what Eric Trump said about being content. Something inside me quietly shifted. Not with anger, just calm like a small click of a lock. You're right, I said, surprising everyone. Maybe I should pray about it. That's my girl, Dad said, smiling like he was happy I was finally acting normal. I think I need some time alone, I added, heading upstairs. Of course, sweetie. Mom called after me. I'll bring you some tea later. Once I was back in my room, I closed the door and grabbed my phone. My hands were steady now. I typed a message to Larry. Plan Alpha is a go. He replied right away. Backup passport ready. You sure about this? I looked out the window. I could see Diane across the yard, already on FaceTime with her friends. She was probably telling them how I had messed everything up again. She saw me and smiled, then blew me a kiss like she'd won. I thought about everything she had done over the years, sabotaging me, making me question myself, always trying to hold me back while getting praised for every small thing. They thought they knew me, that I was the quiet, obedient older daughter who would stay in the background forever. They were wrong. Absolutely sure, I texted back. See you at 4 a.m. I heard Mom's footsteps on the stairs. She was probably bringing the tea she promised. I wiped my face, ready to pretend I was heartbroken. Let them believe they'd won. In less than 3 days, they would find out how wrong they were about everything. Especially about me. The tea sat on my nightstand, untouched and getting cold, while I acted like I was crying into my pillow. Through the wall, I could hear Diane's dramatic voice on the phone. I just feel so bad for her, she said. She's always been, a little fragile. I checked my phone. It was 10:15 p.m. Time to move to the next step. I walked downstairs slowly, dragging my feet a little to seem sad. Mom, Dad, can we talk? They were in their usual spots, Dad in his recliner, Mom on the couch with her devotional book. They gave each other that look they always do when they think I'm being difficult. Of course, sweetheart, Mom said, patting the couch. We've been worried about you. I sat down, holding my phone tightly like it could protect me. I need to ask if you've seen my passport. The one I lost a few months ago. Dad sat up quickly. A few months ago? What do you mean? Oh, I said, letting my voice shake a little. I guess I forgot to mention it. I lost it in January, right after I found out about the scholarship. I was so embarrassed. Mom's face grew tense. January? But you just got the scholarship letter last week. Actually, I said, opening my email on my phone, I got it in April. I just didn't know how to tell you. You've been lying to us? Dad stood up, clearly upset. For months. Like how you're lying about my passport? I replied quickly. Right then, Diane walked in like she had been waiting for her moment. How dare you accuse us, she said. Mom, Dad, she's just blaming everyone again. I'm not stupid, I said, standing up. You've been trying to ruin things for me for years. The science fair project? I saw you with matches in the garage the night before. My prom dress? You were doing laundry right before it got bleached. That's ridiculous, Diane said, her eyes filling with fake tears. Mom, make her stop. Laura, Mom said sharply, apologize to your sister right now. No, I said clearly. I'm done saying sorry for just being myself. That's enough. Dad shouted, slamming his hand on the table. Go to your room until you learn some respect. I turned to leave, then paused. You know what's funny? When I lost my passport in January, I ordered a new one right away. The office said it would take 4 to 6 weeks. The room went silent. That was 3 months ago, I said. Plenty of time for a new one to arrive, don't you think? Mom's face turned pale. Diane stopped crying. You're bluffing, she whispered. I opened the photo gallery on my phone. Here's me at the passport office. Date, January 20th. Here's the receipt. And here's the tracking info showing it was delivered in July. Dad spoke slowly. If you already have a new passport, where is it? I smiled. Somewhere safe. Where none of you can touch it. You ungrateful little. Diane started to rush toward me, but Mom grabbed her arm. Laura, Mom said, trying to sound calm, if you're planning something foolish. Like what? I asked. Following my dreams? Succeeding on my own? Or did you mean something foolish like stealing your sister's passport and lying about it? I never. Diane started. Save it, I said. I stopped her. I don't need the passport you stole. I don't need your approval. And I definitely don't need your prayers. I started walking up the stairs, but Mom called after me. We only want what's best for you. I turned back one last time. No. You want what's easiest for you. That's not the same thing. Back in my room, I locked the door and opened my laptop. A message from Larry popped up. Everything set for tomorrow. You okay? I thought about all the years of being gaslight, being told I was overreacting, being called difficult. I thought about Diane always acting innocent, about Mom using religion to control me, about Dad brushing everything off with a sigh. Better than okay, I typed back. They finally showed their true selves. Then my phone buzzed again. Text from Diane. You're making a huge mistake. Mom and Dad are really upset. Why do you always ruin everything? Please don't do this to our family. I blocked her number. Through the wall, I could hear her crying again. Mom and Dad rushed to comfort her, like always. The perfect daughter's image was falling apart, and she knew it. I checked my hidden backpack one last time, backup passport, scholarship papers, plane ticket. Everything was ready. In less than 7 hours, I'd be at the airport with Larry. Let them think they had won tonight. Let them believe their fake family image was still safe. Tomorrow would change everything. I set my alarm and lay down, not even trying to sleep. I wasn't the quiet, patient sister anymore. Tomorrow they'd learn what happens when you push someone too far. And I couldn't wait. The house was quiet at 3:30 a.m. when I got out of bed. I was already dressed. I hadn't slept much, but my mind was clear. I pulled my backpack from the crawl space behind my closet. My phone vibrated. Larry, outside in 6. You ready? I looked around my room one last time. 17 years of memories, most of them painful. The cross mom had hung over my bed. Family photos where Diane was always in the center. The desk where I studied late at night, dreaming of leaving. On my pillow, I left a note. Some doors are meant to stay closed. Don't try to find me. I stepped over the 3rd stair from the bottom. It always made noise. In the kitchen, I smelled coffee. Dad must have set the timer the night before for his morning routine. The coffee machine made soft sounds, like it was helping me stay quiet. Then I heard a creak upstairs. I froze. Another step. Someone was awake. I quickly hid behind the kitchen island as Diane appeared at the top of the stairs. She was walking to the bathroom, still sleepy, eyes half closed. I held my breath. Then I heard the bathroom door close. My phone buzzed again. Here. I slowly walked to the front door, turning the handle little by little. I tried not to make any noise, but the hinges squeaked loudly like they were warning the whole house I was leaving. The bathroom door opened. Laura? Diane's voice sounded sharp and suspicious. I didn't answer. I pulled the door open and ran.
Mom, Dad.
Diane, she screamed. She's leaving. Larry's car was waiting at the curb with the headlights off. I ran across the lawn as lights turned on in the house. Laura Grace James. Don't you dare. Dad yelled from their bedroom window. I jumped into Larry's car. Go, go, go. He hit the gas just as my parents rushed out the front door in their pajamas. In the mirror, I saw Dad run halfway down the driveway before stopping, barefoot. Whoa, Larry laughed, turning the corner fast. That was crazy. Keep driving, I said, my heart beating fast. They might come after us. I planned for that, he said. He made 3 random turns, then pulled into a 20-hour grocery store parking lot. We'll switch to my sister's car. They don't know what it looks like. As we moved my bags to his sister's car, my phone started buzzing nonstop. Mom. Come home right now, young lady. Dad. You're making a huge mistake. Diane. I can't believe you'd do this to our family. Mom. We're calling the police. Dad. Your mother is crying. Diane. Everyone will know what you did. I turned my phone off. You okay? Larry asked as we got on the highway in his sister's car. Better than okay, I said, watching the sunrise turn the sky pink. I'm free. We reached the airport by 5 a.m. Larry walked me to security. You sure about this? He asked. Once you go in, there's no going back. I've never been more sure, I said, hugging him tightly. Thank you for everything. Just promise you'll enjoy Munich and not spend the whole time thinking about revenge. I smiled. Why not both? Going through security felt like a dream. Every step took me farther away from their control, their guilt trips, their fake love. My backup passport worked without a problem. The TSA agent barely looked at it. At the gate, I turned my phone back on. I had hundreds of messages and missed calls. But one post caught my eye. Diane had posted a selfie from my bedroom. She looked sad. The caption said, Sister's night in. Some people don't understand that family comes first. The comments were full of support. You're such a good sister. She doesn't deserve you. Praying for your family. I smiled and opened my own Instagram, which I hadn't used in months. I posted one photo. My boarding pass to Munich. The caption? Some people don't understand that freedom comes first. Then I turned my phone off, put it away, and looked out the window. The voice over the speaker said, Now boarding flight 1753 to Munich. And just like that, my new life began. I stood up, grabbed my carry-on bag, and walked to the gate without looking back. Behind me were 17 years of being told I was too much, too different, or wanted too many things. In front of me was everything I had worked so hard for. Let Diane act like the victim. Let my parents call the police. Let them all believe they knew my story. I was finally going to write my own. Munich hit me like music, loud, beautiful, and completely different from the quiet life I had left behind. Standing outside Leonardo da Vinci International Airport, I turned my phone back on. The messages had changed. No more yelling or threats. Now they were trying to make peace. Mom, please just tell us you're safe. Dad, we can fix this together. Diane, you're being selfish. Mom won't stop crying. Then a new message popped up from an unknown number. Hi Laura, I'm Julie from the scholarship program. I'm your mentor. Look for the red scarf at arrivals. I saw her right away, tall, confident, and smiling, wearing that red scarf. You must be our American rebel, she said, pulling me into a warm hug. The coordinators told me a bit about your family. Don't worry, we've got your back. The scholarship housing was an old monastery covered in ivy. My room had a view of a quiet courtyard where students from all over the world were sitting, talking about politics and ideas. Orientation for the Global Policy Program starts in an hour, Julie said, helping me with my bags. Just a heads up, they're not easing you in. The UN ambassador to Germany is giving the welcome speech. I must have looked nervous, because she laughed. Relax, she said. After reading your application, I know you're ready. The orientation room was full of students and important guests. I sat near the front, trying to look calm. Today's first speaker, the program director announced, is a surprise guest. Laura from Miami will be sharing her ideas on digital activism. My heart stopped. What? I whispered. Julie smiled and nudged me. Surprise. I recommended you after reading your essay. Go show them what you've got. As I walked to the podium, I thought about all the times Diane had ruined my presentations. All the times my parents had ignored my success. Not this time. I took a deep breath and began. Social media isn't just about talking, I said. It's changing the way we protest, organize, and make real change. For 20 minutes, I owned that room. People asked questions, and I answered all of them. Even the ambassador nodded in approval. Afterward, Julie introduced me to all the important people. Laura's research on digital activism is amazing, she told the director. We're lucky to have her. My phone buzzed. A local news website from back home had posted a story about me. Local students' dramatic path to top scholarship raises questions about family life. The comment section was full of opinions. I know this family from church. There's more to this story. Good for her for getting out. What kind of sister steals a passport? Then I saw Diane's latest post. It was a tearful video of her talking about how she was praying for those who walk away from their families. But this time, the comments weren't all on her side. Didn't your sister just win a big scholarship? Why would anyone need to steal a passport? Maybe your sister had a reason to leave. Julie looked over my shoulder. Your sister, she asked. The golden child, I said. Or, at least she was. Well, Julie smiled. She's about to be in your shadow. The program wants to feature you in their international promo video. Filming starts tomorrow. My hands started shaking as I realized what this meant. People back home would have to watch me succeed. No more hiding. No more acting like I was the problem. That night, I sat in the courtyard with other students, eating pasta and sharing stories. For the first time, I felt truly seen, accepted, and respected. My phone buzzed again, a news alert. Rising Leader Award nominee announced, Laura from Miami chosen for global innovation. Julie walked over holding a bottle of champagne. Congratulations, she said. But you might want to check your email first. I opened it and saw a message from the program director. Your talk today was amazing. We'd like you to speak at next month's award ceremony. International reporters will be there. I smiled as I imagined Diane's face when she saw the news. Mom and Dad trying to explain to their church friends why they never talked about my success. Julie noticed. You're smiling. Thinking about home, I said. Thinking about justice. She raised her glass. To justice. And to the family we choose. Under the Roman night sky, surrounded by people who lifted me up instead of putting me down, I felt something shift. This wasn't just about proving them wrong anymore. It was about becoming who I was meant to be. My phone buzzed again. A message from Dad. We saw the news. We need to talk. I turned off my phone and rejoined the group. Someone was planning a midnight tour of the Colosseum. Let them worry. Let them wonder. Let them watch. I wasn't hiding anymore. Now for our special international segment, the news anchor's voice said back in Miami. A powerful story of success and strength. Thanks to Larry's group chat, I could picture it clearly. Mom dropping her coffee mug, Dad frozen in his chair, and Diane's perfect image starting to fall apart as my face appeared on the TV screen. Laura from Orlando, Florida, has been named this year's Rising Leader Award winner. Her work in digital activism is gaining global attention, the anchor said. The screen showed me, standing in front of the Deutsches Museum, finally being seen for who I truly am. I wore red, Diane's favorite color, just to make a point. On screen, I looked straight into the camera and said, success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Sometimes the people closest to you can't see your worth. That doesn't make it any less real. A message from Larry came just seconds later. Holy, your sister just stormed out. Your mom is calling the station trying to fix things. Facebook groups from back home were blowing up. Isn't that the James family's daughter? Their church always made her sound like the troubled one.
My kid went to school with Diane.
There were rumors. I watched everything unfold on social media. Diane's perfect image was falling apart right in front of everyone. You said she'd never make it. You said she'd fail. Diane's angry voice echoed through their house, according to Larry's updates. Mom quickly tried to do damage control. She posted in the church group. So proud of our Laura. We've always supported her dreams. Proud mama. But the comments weren't kind. Didn't you say she was just finding herself? Didn't your other daughter post that she ran away? Pretty sure you told my wife she was lost just last Saturday. Dad tried calling again. Laura, please. Your mom's reputation at church. I let it go to voicemail. Diane's Instagram followers were dropping fast. Her latest crying video about family loyalty didn't go well. Didn't you steal her passport? My cousin goes to your school. Everyone knows what you did. Maybe stop hurting others and work on yourself. She deleted the video. Then she deleted her entire account. Julie found me on the balcony, watching everything from my phone. Your phone's been buzzing for an hour, she said. Family drama, I replied, showing her the news site. They found my old school records. Straight A's, science fair wins, debate championships. All the stuff my family ignored. Julie scrolled through her phone. Your sister's youth Eric job, they're thinking about taking it away. Character issues. I didn't plan that, I said. But karma has its own way. Look at this, Julie said, showing me another update. The scholarship program had released my full list of speaking events. I was going to speak at the European Parliament next month. Then my phone buzzed again. Mom, people are asking questions at church. Please call us. We can explain. Dad, Laura, this isn't a very Christian thing to do. Diane, you've ruined everything. I hope you're happy. I am, I said. Julie poured 2 glasses of wine. To watching them squirm, she said. To living well, I answered. I corrected Julie. It really is the best kind of revenge. Then my phone buzzed again. This time it was Larry. You need to see this, he wrote. He had sent a video from outside my old house. News vans were everywhere. A reporter was talking to neighbors. They always favored the younger one neighbor said. That poor girl worked so hard, but they only praised her sister. The church was now starting an investigation into my family's behavior. Mom had locked herself in the house. Dad wasn't answering any calls. Diane's friends were pulling away from her. The perfect family image they built was falling apart, and they had no one to blame but themselves. The UN wants to expand your speaking tour, Julie said casually. 3 more countries. All expenses paid. I thought about my family watching me appear on TV again and again, unable to ignore or downplay my success. Every event would break apart their fake story a little more. "When do we leave?" I asked. Julie smiled. "That's my girl." "Oh, and heads up, international press conference tomorrow. Got anything you want to say to your family?" I looked out over Munich's skyline, thinking of all the times they told me to stop dreaming big, to stay quiet, to know my place. "Just one message," I said, opening my camera. I took a photo of myself in front of the Colosseum, wearing a red dress glowing in the sunset. Success written all over my face. Then I posted it with the caption, "Sometimes the black sheep is the only one who sees the truth. Let them choke on it." The press conference room was full of energy. Cameras flashed everywhere. Julie stood next to me, whispering last-minute advice. "Remember," she said, "you're not just a student anymore. You're a symbol." A reporter raised her hand. "Ms. Laura, your research on digital activism has impressed the UN. But there's also huge interest in your personal story. Do you want to say anything about the family situation going viral online?" I stepped up to the microphone and remembered all the times I'd been told to stay quiet. My story isn't rare. Many young people grow up in homes where their dreams are ignored or crushed. But I don't believe that's love. And I don't have to accept it as love. "Your sister said you're twisting the truth to get attention. What's your response?" I kept my voice steady. "I think the facts speak for themselves," I said, pulling up my slides. "Here's my school record. Here's the passport timeline. And here's the security footage from my high school showing my sister messing with my science fair project." I didn't make up this story. I just stopped hiding it. The room burst into questions. Through the live stream, I could see comments from people in my hometown reacting in real time. One reporter said, "Your parents claim they've always supported you." I looked at her calmly. "I have 17 years of proof showing otherwise. Would you like to see it?" Back home, Diane's perfect world was falling apart fast. Larry sent me video clips from Diane's latest youth group meeting. "How can you teach us about honesty?" one teenager asked. "Didn't you steal your sister's passport?" Another teen added, "My mom says we need a new youth leader." Diane ran out crying. But this time, her tears weren't getting her what she wanted. Mom's last-minute efforts to fix things only made it worse. She had posted a long message on Facebook saying she supported both her daughters equally. But someone shared old screenshots of her past posts, ones where she ignored or mocked my achievements. The church board called an emergency meeting. Dad stopped going to his men's prayer breakfasts. Their image in the community was falling apart. Then a news alert popped up on my phone. Global Policy Initiative expands youth program. Laura named program ambassador. Julie smiled and nudged me. "They want to offer you a full-time position after graduation, with full diplomatic status." I thought about all the times my parents had said I would never succeed without them. Now I was being offered a future they couldn't even imagine. "Ms. Laura," a reporter called out, "your sister's recent video says you're trying to punish the family. Is that true?" "No," I said clearly. "I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just succeeding."
They're not used to that.
After the press conference, Julie showed me the latest updates. My story wasn't just popular, it was becoming a movement. #WhyBlackSheepSucceed was trending everywhere. "Check your email," Julie said with a big smile. "The White House Youth Leadership Summit wants you to be their keynote speaker." I opened my laptop and saw hundreds of messages from young people around the world. My family tried to stop me from going to college. They always praised my brother and ignored me. "You gave me the courage to apply for a scholarship." Then I noticed an old email thread titled Family Updates. Mom had started it years ago to share only Diane's accomplishments with relatives. I had never been mentioned. I hit reply all and added a video clip of my latest interview. Then I wrote, "Sometimes love doesn't feel like love. It feels like control. Like being told to be less so someone else can be more. That's not love. That's emotional abuse pretending to be protection." I hit send. Minutes later, replies came pouring in from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. "We had no idea. Your parents only ever talked about Diane. Now everything makes sense. Larry texted again. Your mom left church in tears. The Eric's wife wouldn't even sit with her. Diane's been removed from the youth leadership program, he added. Officially, for personal reasons. I thought I'd feel proud or smug, but instead, I just felt calm.
Free.
Like I could finally breathe without worrying if I was taking up too much space. Julie walked in holding a stack of papers. Time to sign, she said. The UN doesn't like to wait. As I signed the contract, my phone lit up with one final message from Dad. We hope you find what you're looking for. No apology. No truth. Just cold distance pretending to be concerned. I picked up my phone and typed, I already found it. I found myself, the version you tried to hide, and she's amazing. Then I turned to Julie. When's our flight to Lausanne? Tomorrow morning, she said with a smile. The world's waiting. Let them watch from their small-town shadows. Let them see what happens when you try to dim someone's light. I wasn't hiding anymore, and I was just getting started. The gala ballroom sparkled with lights and elegance. I adjusted my microphone. 3 months had passed since I walked away from everything. And tonight, it all came together. The Rising Leader Awards ceremony, broadcast around the world. Ready, Julie said, straightening my navy blue dress. Your family is definitely watching. Larry said they're gathered at your house with church elders, praying for your soul. I smiled. Let them pray. I'm done feeling guilty for making them uncomfortable. The program director walked on stage. Tonight's award goes to someone who has redefined what it means to overcome hardship. Please welcome Laura. I walked up to the stage. As I reached the podium, memories came rushing back. Every harsh comment, every ruined chance, every time they told me to stay small. Not tonight. Most success stories start with, I had a dream. I began. Mine starts with, I had a backup passport. The crowd laughed gently. We talk about toxic relationships. I continued, but we don't always talk about toxic love, the kind that holds you back while pretending to protect you. The kind that lifts one child up while pushing the other down. I noticed a few ambassadors leaning forward, listening closely. My sister took my passport, so I couldn't come here. My parents supported her and called it God's will. But here's the truth. They weren't protecting me. They were protecting themselves from the pain of watching me outgrow what they could understand. The cameras showed the audience's focused faces. The silence was full of power. My clutch buzzed with a message from Larry. Your mom just left the room crying. Diane tried to live stream a response, but it's not working. I looked back at the crowd. To every young person who's ever been told to dream smaller, to settle, to stay quiet, know this. You don't have to shrink yourself for others. You don't have to give up your light just to make someone else comfortable. Your potential is only a threat to people who want control. Julie gave me a thumbs up from the side of the stage. Tonight, I accept this award not just for me, I said, but for every black sheep who refused to stay where they were told. For every scapegoat who chose to rise instead of stay silent. The applause began, soft at first, then louder. And to my family watching from home, I said, pausing to let the moment settle. Thank you. Your efforts to hold me back only showed me how much space I was meant to fill. I was meant to shine. Their fear of my light only proved how bright it really was. The crowd stood and clapped. Cameras flashed. I saw tears in the audience. Later, at the reception, my phone filled with notifications. Diane had finally posted her response video. My sister's speech was a cruel attack on our loving family, she cried. We only ever wanted what was best for her. But the comments were brutal. Give it up, sis. Did you return the passport yet? Your act isn't working anymore. She deleted the video in minutes. Julie walked over with a group of UN officials. They want to expand your speaking tour to Asia, France, and United Kingdom. Your story is connecting with people everywhere. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. We hope you find what you're looking for. The same message as before. Still no apology. Still no sign they truly understood. I handed my phone to Julie. Block their numbers. All of them. You sure? She asked. They're not watching because they care. They're watching to look for flaws, to prove they were right about me all along. I'm done trying to earn their approval. A reporter walked over with one last question. What makes you most proud of your journey? I thought of the scared girl who had hidden a backup passport, the sister who had been sabotaged. The daughter told her dreams were too big. That I got here on my own, I said, even when no one believed I could. After the reporters left, Julie joined me on the balcony. Your story is all over the major news networks, she said. They're calling you the voice of a generation. And my family? I asked. Your aunt called the program office, she said. Your parents are stepping down from church leadership to focus on family healing. I laughed. That's code for, we can't handle the public backlash. And Diane? I asked. Lost her youth Eric role. Her social media followers are dropping fast. And her perfect image is gone. Looks like karma doesn't take prayer requests, I said. Julie handed me a glass of champagne.
To the black sheep. To freedom, I said. And to never looking back.
Below us, Munich sparkled like a sea of possibilities. Somewhere in Miami, my family was probably making up a new story about their lost daughter. But I wasn't lost. For the first time in my life, I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I was never going back to being small. Later, in my hotel suite in Lausanne, I opened my laptop. A global youth magazine had sent interview questions. Most were easy about family, growth, and success. But the last question stopped me. Was revenge worth the cost of losing your family? Julie looked up from the couch. You don't have to answer that one. Yes, I do, I said and started typing. Revenge sounds like I acted out of anger. But I didn't. I just stopped believing that their idea of love was the only kind that mattered. The real question isn't, was the revenge worth it? It's, is freedom worth the price you pay for it? My phone buzzed. Larry had sent a news clip from home. My parents' church was now split over family values. The same Eric who once praised them was now questioning their actions. Your mom tried to join a new church, Larry texted. They Googled her first. I thought I'd feel proud, but I didn't. No anger.
No joy.
Just peace, like I had finally let go. Miss Laura? There was a knock at my door. The UN Secretary General moved up your meeting. The car is waiting. Julie grabbed her tablet, already thinking about the policies we'd be discussing. Almost ready, I said. I turned back to finish the interview. Success isn't sweet revenge, I typed. It's proof that their limits were never mine. Their small dreams weren't my future. Their fear was never my ceiling. In the hotel lobby, we waited for the El Julietter. Around us, diplomats moved with purpose. Nearby, I saw a mom arguing with her daughter. But I don't want to be a lawyer, the girl said. You're not choosing. This is tradition, her mom snapped. I stepped forward. Excuse me, I said. They both turned and looked surprised. You're that speaker, the mom said. The one with the family story. The one whose family tried to hold her back? Yes, I said. Then I looked at the girl. Let me guess, they say it's for your protection? The girl nodded, her eyes wide. Protection that feels like a cage, I said. Isn't protection at all. I gave her my card. Email me. I know some great art schools in Munich. The mother opened her mouth to argue, then stopped. Something in her face changed. In the car, Julie raised an eyebrow. That was new. Maybe that's the real revenge, I said. Helping others escape what I went through.
My phone buzzed again.
A post from Diane, the first in months. To my sister, I'm sorry. Not for show. Not for attention.
Just sorry.
I was wrong. Comments poured in. Finally, honesty. Takes courage to admit that. Character growth. I checked her profile. Her bio now read, learning to celebrate others' light instead of trying to dim it. Julie looked over. Are you going to reply? No, I said, putting my phone away. Her growth isn't my job anymore. At the UN building, an assistant rushed over. The Secretary General would like you to share your personal story before you speak on policy. I paused. I thought about that scared girl who once hid a backup passport. I thought about Diane's first real apology. I thought about that mother back in the hotel lobby, finally listening. Tell him, I said. I'll share something better. I'll share what comes after survival. That evening, back in my hotel suite, I opened my laptop to finish the interview. People always ask me, was revenge worth losing your family? But that question assumes family is only about blood and tradition. Sometimes, family is the friend who believed in you first, the person who helps you escape, the mentor who sees your talent, the strangers who support you when no one else does. Sometimes, family isn't the people you're born to. Sometimes, family is choosing yourself when no one else will. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't making them feel sorry. It's making them unimportant to your happiness. I hit send, then walked to the window. Lausanne's lights sparkled below, each one a sign of hope, a dream, a future with no limits but mine. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from an unknown number. I saw your speech. I'm leaving for college tomorrow. My parents said I couldn't, but I got a backup passport too. Thank you for showing me how. I smiled, remembering that first moment of freedom on the flight to Munich. Good luck, I typed back. The world is bigger than their fears. Julie appeared at my door. The car's here. Time for your TED Talk. I grabbed my notes and glanced at my reflection in the mirror. No more sadness in my eyes. No more fear in my shoulders. Only strength, purpose, and the calm confidence of someone who finally chose herself. Ready, I said. We stepped into the hallway. Let's go help more black sheep find their wings. Behind me, my phone lit up with another message from Diane. Whatever it said could wait. I had a future to build, one brighter than any past they ever tried to trap me in. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.